What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse ranch, no hate. So let me respond to a question I was asked last night. And I want to make this crystal clear. Terrence Crawford is getting ready to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, me being a black man, I can go for Terrence Crawford just based on that alone. And I could care less about how anybody would feel about it. No different from Mexican fans cheering for their Mexican fighter, cheering for their Puerto Rican fighter, cheering for their Filipino fighter, cheering for their Chinese fighter, cheering for their Japanese fighter, okay, so forth and so on. What you guys need to remember when you ask ARIES these type of questions, I'm nobody's fucking fan. So Terrence Crawford, and here's the truth, Terrence Crawford winning the fight isn't a win for black people. It's a win for Terrence Crawford. Black people may like it because, hey, the black man won. You know, Canelo Alvarez winning isn't a win for Mexican people. They may take it that way because, hey, the Mexican guy won. I really personally don't give a damn either way across the board because, now, truthfully, to make a pick, I hope Crawford beat the brakes off of Canelo. But Crawford, just like Canelo, said something that I don't respect, okay? And it's basically referencing the fact that I can do what the fuck I want. I don't care what nobody say or what they feel. And the only people that you're really talking about are your fans. People say, oh no, I'm talking about the haters. No, it's not about haters. Because there's people who want to see Crawford win that, but they don't think he will. Okay? And however, but regardless, do you think that Canelo's going to win? And then go and say, hey man, let me go to all my top YouTubers and top podcasters, all my top fans that constantly argue and fight for me and give their families $1 million. Absolutely not. You think Crawford's going to do the same? No. What is it about your fucking life that you celebrate and brag about so much? Nothing. You know what you brag about? Being a fucking fanboy of somebody else's. Terrence Crawford don't know who the fuck you are. Canelo, they don't know who these people are. And you want to know what they all have in common? I don't care where they're from. They don't like when you don't agree with them. When you don't agree with something that they say or do, then you're a hater, right? All these haters, right? I know. And why y'all sitting up here bragging like ignorant black people wanting so bad to be able to say that Crawford is better than Floyd, or you want so bad to be able to say that? You know what you guys are not understanding when you're missing the whole picture? Your opinions is nothing but your opinions. But while these racist people are out here cheering for their favorite fighters, and they don't care about Floyd or Crawford either way, the reason why people in this generation, why a Canelo fan want to say Crawford is better, is because if Canelo wins, they want to be able to say that, oh, see, if Floyd fought Crawford right now, but yeah, he'd lose. The fantasy shit, which means absolutely nothing. Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. But I guarantee you, and remember who's saying this. See, I'm way ahead of the game, man. If Crawford loses, okay, they're not going to care about where he stands. And they can't say he's better than fucking Floyd. It don't matter. They can say what the fuck they want, but they're not going to be able to say he's better than Floyd because, well, Floyd beat Canelo. Oh, yeah, well, this version of Canelo was better, but if this version of Canelo was better, how did he lose to Crawford? Well, because Crawford is better than Floyd. No, but if he beats Crawford, right? You understand what I'm saying? It's the whole narrative changes. So if he beats Crawford, they want to be able to say, yeah, he beat Crawford, which means, and Crawford is better than Floyd, so that means this version of Canelo will win. But if he loses to Crawford, them saying that Crawford is better than Floyd doesn't change anything, because that just means he lost to both of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So to try to say Crawford would be better than Floyd, they don't care about that, because they don't care about Crawford at all. They hate the fact that Floyd beat him, and they hate the thought of Crawford beating him. You guys are getting caught up in a fucking race war, and you're getting caught up in race wars about people who don't give a fuck about you. I stand up for what's true and what's right. You guys are all about arguing your opinions. I don't give a fuck how you see Floyd. I don't care how you see Crawford. I don't care how you see Canelo. But the truth is the truth. No matter how you try to twist it. So if Canelo was to knock Crawford out in the first round, I lose no sleep. That just means Crawford got knocked the fuck out in the first round. You understand what I'm saying? If Crawford wins, it doesn't do shit to me or do shit for me. I'm not jumping up. Yeah. The reason, and let me explain something to you. This is the reason why I want Crawford to win. Okay, why? If I had to take a pick, right? I get sick of hearing Canelo's mouth talking about how I ain't no scared of nobody and I do what I want. And he talked a lot of shit about Crawford being a smaller guy and he gets nothing if he wins. Notice how all that shit changes now, right? This is going to be a dangerous fight. This is a serious fight, I know, and right? But Crawford also said the same exact thing about I do what I want and I'm Mexican, right? Okay. You see, the thing with Crawford is all about the people from where he's from, the country, the city he's from. Canelo is over here goozing the fucking Mexican people in general, okay? I don't know if there's a certain part of Mexico that he don't give a fuck about, but he doesn't separate it. He just talks about Mexico. He never narrows it down to just where he's from, what part of Mexico he's from. He just says Mexico in general. So my thing is, he keeps talking his shit. Now, yeah, I'm gonna pull for my black American brother. Fuck that. Why not? But along with that is the fact of this. Whether he can win or not, I don't know. Okay? We'll find out. But the other part of that is this. For every time Canelo says that he isn't ducking anybody, I know this motherfucker don't want to fight Benavidez because he feels more of a threat coming from Benavidez, with Crawford being a smaller guy. And if he loses this fight to fucking Crawford, he's not going to fight Benavidez. The only way I see him fighting Benavidez is if he feels like this is the only big payday that's like another massive payday. And Benavidez already said, if they fight, Canelo's getting $100 fucking million. So whatever he's getting in his Crawford fight, my point is if he wins, that's not going to give him credit or confidence that he can beat Benavidez. Benavidez is a much bigger, stronger dude. You understand what I'm saying? And it's embarrassing to him to lose at 168 pounds to a guy that came up from fucking lightweight. You understand what I'm saying? So the embarrassment will be there. And now the questions will be asked. Why don't you fight Benavidez? So now coming off of a fucking loss, what does Benavidez gain now? Because now it won't be no $100 million fight for Canelo. And he's tainted. You just lost to a smaller guy. Canelo's not the same. Yeah, he's falling off. So now Benavidez beat him. It's just, well, he beat a guy that just got beat by Crawford. It's obvious that Canelo's not the same. And you know where that leaves Benavidez? In a position of, I just beat the shit out this guy, but now everybody want to try to taint my win. And what they can't say is, well, Benavidez waited for him to get old. No, Benavidez was the one pushing for this fight. And Canelo made every excuse to not fight him. So now you get beat by a guy, just like Floyd came up and waited to fight him, right? The catch weight didn't mean nothing. It didn't hurt him, and Canelo admitted that shit didn't bother him at all. Only thing he says is Floyd was more experienced and all right. When Floyd beat Canelo Hernandez, Floyd was 21 years old, okay, and didn't have that many fights yet. He was just a special fighter. When Floyd fought against Canelo had 44 fights, something like that. And I think Floyd had 44 wins, and Floyd had 46 or something like that. So he was right there with Floyd. And they going to use the 23 as the excuse. He was 23. Floyd was 21 when he won his fucking first championship. But yeah, even Roy, old boy-headed ass, don't want to fucking admit the truth. You know, but we already know he's an old, bitter motherfucker. He became what his fucking father was. That's exactly what Roy is now. How he described his father, that's exactly what Roy has become. An old, bitter motherfucker who think the world revolves around him. And he's blaming Andre Ward, talking about the flack he's getting because no, it ain't no flack he's getting because of Andre Ward, because everything you fucking said was before you even went on his show. So now that you went on his show, the flack that you getting is because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I mean, he told everybody, Andre Ward didn't make you tell that lie to the people when you told everybody, yo, Floyd broke Marciano's record by fighting the guy that wasn't even a boxer, but you know what happened with Marciano is because he died. You know, if he didn't die, then he didn't die right away. He lived 13 years. He retired and then he died. Man, what the fuck you talking about? That man retired, lived 13 years after that. He wasn't coming back to boxing. Floyd and Roy didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He was just talking shit. You know, and the fact that he tried to fucking break down, talk about he ain't fighting nobody on his level, and he has a far better resume than Roy does. And anybody that says Roy fought everybody, name everybody. And you'll feel really stupid how limited your response is because, I know who the fuck he fought. I know both of them fucking fought. So at the end of the day, yeah, man, it's one of those things. And y'all getting so caught up into this shit, man, and feeding into this shit. This ain't America versus Mexico. There's a racist president running this fucking country. There's a bunch of racist. There's no more people, more racist on the front of this earth, honestly, except for white. No, there's no more racist people on the face of this earth than white supremacists. White supremacists are the most racist motherfucking people on the face of this earth. One thing about people from other countries that's racist, they hate other countries. What's the problem with America? White supremacists hate anybody in America that's not a white supremacist. And if you white and you're not a white supremacist, they don't give a fuck about you either. They're the most racist people on the face of this fucking earth. It's like it's just in their DNA, man. So when you guys are sitting up here arguing over these fighters and that's why I tell people, your comments are not the same as mine. Your intentions aren't the same as mine. I'm not ever, like when you hear me speaking, like people, like this one dude, there's always somebody, you seem to be pro-Floyd, man, fuck you and Floyd. You too dumb to understand where I'm coming from. So you don't even deserve to talk to me. Shut the fuck up. It has nothing to do with Floyd as a person. I don't know Floyd. You guys make things personal. Perfect example of something. I saw a video today, and some guy is talking about Deontay's new woman and how people are insulted. I'm not talking about Deontay's personal business. Who that man dated is his fucking business. I have no say-so or I have no interest in talking about who the fuck somebody's dating. That's that man's business who he's dating. I can care fucking less who he's dating. I have no interest in talking about it. So when people are putting these videos up, and then you're sitting up here talking about doing the right thing, and well, damn, you feel like talking about somebody's personal business is that's boxing news? It's not. So I went from talking about just boxing, because boxing is just pure shit right now. I don't even understand like why anybody would even tune in to watch more than half of the fights that they watch, because they're giving us shit right now. All of this drama, all of these little bullshit antics. Boxing is nothing but he said, she said, a bunch of Twitter beef, or X beef, whatever they call it, X. Just a bunch of social media beef. Fighters talking shit back and forth. Oh, this fight versus such and such is on. Following week, the fight's not on anymore. Following week is back on. The following week, that fight is fighting somebody like, what are we doing? What are we doing? People want to overlook racism in boxing. They want to overlook all the wrong that's being done. But then, you got these fighters that you sit up here and cheer for, and they have nothing to say about nothing. What's this dark-skinned motherfucker name? Richard Hitchison, whatever. Talked all this shit about Devin Haney, but then embraced the racist Teofimo Lopez. I mean, you guys, you don't get it, man. And when Crawford did that coon ass shit, when he sat up there and fucking, hugged fucking Teofimo, I talk about, tell him why you were saying that racist stuff. Like, yo, that answer was sufficient to you? That was a good enough answer to you, Crawford, that you end up hugging him and taking a picture with him and doing the peace sign up with him? Come on, all that bullshit, man. I just look at people and I'm like, you know what? You're better off saying nothing at all. than pretending that you wanted to do something about a situation. But this is my point with all these black fighters, is that y'all would sit up here and talk about black this and black that. But when it come to black fighters, y'all hate each other, but y'all forgive anybody else. So no, I'm not sitting up here like crossing my fingers, hoping Crawford win. Like I said, if I had to pick, yeah, I hope Crawford beat his ass. But at the end of the day, I really don't give a fuck. Whatever happens, happens. Like, either way, if Crawford wins, like I said, I explained to you why. You understand what I'm saying? But if you know what my thoughts are and why I want to see him win. But other than that, nah, it's no personal thing. Like, I don't care about none of these motherfuckers on a personal level. So my whole thing and what I see with people, and you got to understand, rich people don't really give a fuck about the same causes that we care about. That's why once they get money, their whole conversation changes. Everything about them change. And where they once at one point was talking about the cause for black people and stand up for what's right and fighting against racism. No, they didn't do that shit. They didn't do that shit. You know what they did? They said, damn, you know what, man? If you can't beat them, join them. I think it's safer to just, play my cards in a way of not really getting in too deep with what's really going on in the world. Because, I mean, come on, man. You know, these fighters want to speak about black people when they have a fight coming up. Because really what they're doing is trying to get the black people to rally behind them. But it's more like do you really care overall? And black people have been reduced to, it's all about your city. Really? Okay. So, yeah, I mean, what does that do for me? If he wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. But I just told you why I said I want to see him win if I had to take a pick. But I really don't give a fuck on And let me explain something to you. And let me make this clear. For any black fighter out there, when you fight anybody and you get your ass beat and the person you're fighting against happen to be from a different nationality, they're going to celebrate, they're going to wave their flags and do all of that. And you want to know what's going to happen? All these coons out here, if they don't like you, they're going to celebrate with them. And if you happen to lose to another black fighter, all of the people celebrating for their countrymen is going to say in the comments, you wouldn't beat that guy. And all the black people going to do is become divided. They're going to look at the YouTube algorithms, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to pick sides based on who they think is going to get them more likes and subscribers, because that's what coons do. And that's what I see out here. Y'all might be too immature to see it, but I see exactly what's going on. And I told you guys a long time ago, I never was and I never will be anybody's fucking fan. And what y'all need to understand about life, there's always going to be more negativity being put out there for everybody to see than what's positive. Always. So whatever happens, that's what happens. Do I care personally? Nah. If Crawford wins, America doesn't win. If he loses, America doesn't lose. The same with Canelo. The only thing they know, Mexico don't win or lose regardless of the outcome. The problem is the way things are perceived by you guys, you think that's what it's about, but it's not. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys right now. Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch you on my next video. I don't jump up and scream for no fucking man. Plain and simple.